her hammer in the nails. Gary came down once to get a beer from the new mini fridge and saw his jerseys replaced with pictures of us at the beach, my graduation, and Mom's parents who died before I was born. He stood there for maybe 10 seconds staring at the wall, then grabbed his beer and went back upstairs without saying anything. The new carpet was this soft gray color that made the room feel bigger and brighter than Gary's old dark cave. Mom had picked out a big sectional couch that faced a normal-sized TV mounted on the wall where Gary's huge screen used to dominate everything. She put board games in the cabinet where Gary kept his beer collection and replaced his neon signs with actual lamps that gave off warm light. The insurance letter came 6 weeks after the disaster with our new premium that was almost double what we'd been paying before. Mom sat me down at the kitchen table and showed me all the policy details, explaining deductibles and coverage limits, while Gary pretended to read the newspaper. She made me understand how neglecting maintenance could void coverage and why we needed to document everything with photos and receipts. Gary kept glancing over but didn't interrupt, even when Mom said this was what happened when people were ignored problems until they exploded. I took notes while she explained how insurance companies investigate claims and why they'd almost denied ours completely. She showed me the adjuster's report that listed years of deferred maintenance and said we were lucky to get anything at all. Gary came home from anger management the next Tuesday and actually asked if we could talk in the living room. He sat on the edge of the couch with his hands folded and told me his therapist made him write a list of times his pride hurt other people. He said the sewage disaster was #1 on a list of 37 incidents where he should have listened instead of assuming he knew better. His voice cracked a little when he admitted he'd been scared of looking weak in front of his friends, and that's why he acted so stupid. He didn't exactly apologize, but he said he understood now that respect goes both ways, and he hadn't been giving me any. I told him thanks for saying that, and he nodded before going to the garage to organize his tools, which was his way of dealing with emotions. Mom announced that Friday would be family game night in the new basement, and we'd be playing cards and board games together. Gary actually showed up without complaining and sat at the game table she'd bought to replace his poker table. We played Uno first, and when Gary lost 3 hands in a row, he just laughed instead of getting mad or making excuses. Mom beat him at Scrabble, and he congratulated her instead of claiming she cheated or the game was stupid. I won at Monopoly after Gary went bankrupt, and he actually high-fived me instead of flipping the board like he would have before. The summer job acceptance letter came the next week for a paid internship at an engineering firm downtown. Gary started to say it would interfere with helping him with yard work, but Mom cut him off immediately, saying this was a great opportunity. She told me she was proud of how I'd handled everything and that she trusted my judgment about my future. Gary just nodded and mumbled something about needing to check the lawnmower while Mom helped me fill out the paperwork. She even offered to drive me on my first day since Gary would need the truck for work. 2 months after the Super Bowl disaster, the viral video views finally started slowing down from millions to just thousands per day. Gary's co-workers still called him Plunger Man, but he'd learned to laugh along instead of getting defensive or angry. He even made a joke about it at the hardware store when the clerk recognized him from the video. Instead of denying it or getting mad, Gary said at least he was famous for something, even if it was being an idiot. The clerk laughed and gave him a discount on the new pipe fittings he was buying for preventive maintenance. Our family dinners became actual conversations instead of Gary lecturing while Mom and I ate in silence. Mom started making decisions about home